Hi, 703. It's Miss English Sunday night. Good news and bad news. You can decide which is which, but I will not be in class tomorrow. You'll have a substitute, but you can watch this video. I have a professional development, and I'll be back on Tuesday morning. In any case, the results are not fantastic from the quiz, and so I would like everyone to go over each one of the answers. Your homework for this week, which will be posted in Classroom, will be a problem by problem dissection of what went wrong. So question number 1, which expression is equivalent to 4 times the quantity 3x plus 5? We know we're just going to use the distributive property, distributive. And I take my 4 and I distribute it to each element. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times 5 is 20. The correct answer is, that's 12x. The correct answer is 12x plus 20. Looks like this. It is answer choice D. Question number 2. Which expression is equivalent to 8 plus 6x? So in this case, I have to work backwards, and I have to think, well, what times something gives me 8, and what times that same thing gives me 6? So I'm actually going to factor, which is the opposite of distribute. When I factor out, in this particular case, a 2, I would know that I would have to multiply 2 by 4 to get 8, and 2 by 3x to get 6x. And so if you work backwards, you would see 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 3x is 6x. The correct answer is B, 2 times the quantity 4 plus 3x. I have lots of new colored pens, so this should be a lot of fun. Okay, number 3, let's see. You can see that number 3 says, simplify, again that word, to make it simple. And I am going to look at the expression, and remember in class we talked about minding our P's and our Q's. P is not equal to Q, so you had to pay careful attention to that. So I'm going to circle my like terms in green, and I am going to triangle my other like terms in red. Then I know what I can combine and what I can't combine. 12p minus 7p is simply 5p. Negative 3q minus q is negative 4q. And that's my final answer right here. Answer choice B. Question number 4. Again, simplify, so I know that I'm going to be just looking at like terms, but this is simplification with a twist. I have to distribute this first before I start simplifying. So I have 6r plus 6r plus 3. Remember that 3 times 2r is 6r, but the 3 times 1 is just 3. I can see I have 2 with r's in them, and then I have one lonely 3 out here. So 6r plus 6r is 12r, and then I just bring the 3 because it is not a like term at all. The correct answer choice is D. Question 5. Which is equivalent to the expression below? So I have, again, P's are not equal to Q's. They're not like terms. I can't combine them. So let's see what I have. I'm going to underline the P terms. P, P, and that's the only one. Now, the 4 and the 12 don't have anything. They don't have anything at all. There's no variables, so those are like terms. And then the oddball over here is this Q, so I'm going to put a triangle on it. So I can add my 3p plus 1p. That gives me 4p. Then I can add my 4 and my 12. That is 16. And then I have this lonely 3q, the very end there. It doesn't matter which order I put it. This is still the correct answer. A for number 5. Number 6. Move this up. Simplify. Again, I'm going to be doing a lot more like term combining. And when there are no parentheses, well, even sometimes when there are parentheses, I'm just going to go from left to right, combining my like terms. So I have an in, I have an in, I have an in. Then I have a negative 12, and I have a positive 2. So let's do my negative 12 and positive 2. Neither one of those have variables, so negative 12 plus positive 2 is negative 10. Then I have my n plus my 4n, that's 5n, plus 3n is, that's a negative 3n. Okay, so n plus 4n is 5n, so I have 5n minus 3n. 5 minus 3 is 2, and I keep the n, so it's 5n minus 3n, so plus 2n. I could write it this way, or I could write it the way it is in the problem, 2n minus 10. Those two things are equal to each other. The correct answer was C. Down to my final page. What is the simplified form of the expression? And again, it's an expression because it does not have an equal sign. This one's pretty easy. You just have to not get messed up with your signs. So I have a w and a negative w. Then I have the 6 all by itself. So I know there's nothing I can do with the 6. I may as well bring it down. So negative 2w minus w is negative 3w. Answer choice D. Simplify the expression. AB and 2AB. Now AB and AB are like terms, but negative B, that's all by itself, and then the 9 is all by itself. I'm going to put a triangle on it because it doesn't look anything like the other two. So remember, when there's no coefficient, you can always just put an imaginary 1 there. That's like saying I have 1AB plus 2AB. That gives me 3AB. And then I have the negative b, which I can't do anything with. It's not a like term. And then plus 9. Correct answer choice is B. Number 9. Simplify. And I'm thinking I might have to do some distribution, but I realize, no, these are just parentheses. And so I'm going to go from left to right and combine like terms. I have an x term and another x term. I have a 3, and I have a 5, so I know first off, 3 plus 5 is 8. And funny thing, I have positive 7x plus negative 7x, so that's just a number added to its opposite, 7x minus 7x equals 0, and all I'm left with is answer choice D, which is 8. Okay, 10, I'm going to work this one out. It's a little more complicated. I have to simplify, but first I have to distribute before I can simplify. So I'm going to distribute my negative 3 to my f and my negative 3 to my negative g. And I end up with g minus 3f. A negative times a negative is a positive, so now I have positive 3g minus 2f. So take a minute to absorb that. I just distributed the negative 3 to the f, and then distributed the negative 3 to the g, but because it's a negative times a negative, I end up with a positive. Now I can decide what my like terms are. I have a g term, I have a g term, I have an f term, and I have an f term. So g plus 3g is 4g. Negative 3f minus 2f is negative 5f. And I don't see a Q there, so let's see if this is on the second page. That would be it. It's answer choice D on the second page. Please do send me an email sometime today if you're confused, but I will put the I'll put the answer key up, and feel free to start your homework and have it ready by Friday.